You're joining. Hey,
That's a nice picture. Maybe I shouldn't start my video. You tell me, that or that? The light. Oh,
well,
light
in
is
the
not
photo,
right.
you weren't wearing the new shirt, so
Still not. All right, let's hang up the phone. Can you hear me over the computer? Now I'm going to leave that new shirt thing for tease. Oh, hang on. Oh, I'm all right. Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
I can see the
So
royal skim in the background.
yeah, it
And all you can see is my bar and that beautiful photo I took.
was
I'm
a
quite
beautiful
the
photo.
quite the iPhone photographer.
So I see you got a sweater on today. Is it still cold up there? You guys had a good day yesterday.
Beautiful, it's gorgeous. It's just a little light jacket stuff. I have a little appointment out, so I thought I'd go business casual.
Hey, look at this cup right here.
I love that. I love it.
Huh?
Dreams start here with your coffee.
Hey, look right now. When I put it in front of my face, it looks even better, doesn't it? Oops.
Yeah, what I see is a nice fancy haircut on top of the coffee mug. It's nice.
So here we are. This is our second episode. Tony Cabral, myself, and my friend Michael Copperwhite. We've been friends for 35 years. He's an awesome guy. I love this guy to death, man. He's an awesome dude, good friend. And
You say 35 years, and it makes me stop and like, how is that possible? Like, time just does a funny thing, doesn't it? Time just keeps on marching on. We should write a song.
we should, and here's a funny thing. I don't mind saying this. I know this is being filmed. It's going to be on YouTube, and it's going to go viral or whatever. But I want
Oh,
to
it's
say this.
vitally viral.
Yeah. So out of all the people I've ever known in my life, the people I've ever hung around with, you are one of them.
I'm proud to be one of them. I really am. I'm excited to be on that long list.
So the last time we did the podcast, you said you're going to get a new shirt for this new one. Do you have a new shirt?
I do not. I thought I put a lot of pressure on myself to get that shirt. And I thought, this is crazy to have this kind of pressure. I'm just going to get it when the timing's right. And the audience will be, how do they say, waiting with bated breath. And when they see it, they're going to know. That's the fun part. When they see it, they're going to go, that's the one, without us even having to say anything.
Yeah, it's going to be worth the wait, right?
Seemingly. Let's hope so. Oh, I am excited about getting that shirt. I'm excited about a lot of things. It's a gorgeous day here in New England. Blue sky, crisp, a little chilly. This is those days where it starts. Oh my goodness! I
Wow.
wasn't expecting 30 degrees, but we're going to jump up into the mid 40s. Nothing but sun. So it's and spring is in the air, and we're having some fun.
Yeah, right now we're at 64 here.
The word perspective has been coming up for me a lot lately, and it came up again last week when someone talking about the temperatures in New England. Like right now, if it's 45 degrees, which will be later on today, I literally saw a guy out yesterday with shorts and a t-shirt. I mean, people are just so excited that 45 is so warm. If it's August and it's 45, you're grabbing a sweatshirt and complaining about how cold it is.
Yeah, because I always thought about that. If it's in the winter and it goes to 45, it's beautiful. If you go through the summer and it goes down to 45, you say, man, it's cold.
A lot of pressure for you, and you decided to just move to Florida and forget the whole thing?
Yeah, I sold my show and moved. Oh, man. So to remind all
I can't even imagine the last time that you walked into 30 degrees. When was the last time you walked into a 30 degree temperature? It probably never happen.
Boy, I don't know. It does happen, but I used to go up north there to Massachusetts for the Hudson several times a year. But the way that things changed with COVID now, I haven't gone in well over a year. My mother's birthday is always in April.
Yeah.
So my mother's birthday is always in April.
I was going to say, it's always in April for 80 or 90 times now, huh?
I usually go up there to see her for her birthday, so we'll see if I can get up there to see her or not.
So 85, 90 years in a row, it's always been April. It's fascinating to me.
So I want to take a short break here to let people know that they should like the video if they like it and subscribe. So every time we put one out, you'll be notified of it. And share this with people. You know,
You don't
everybody
want
wants to
to miss
know
these
Mike.
notifications.
Everybody wants to know Michael over here, so share this.
Let's hope people are having some fun. I know one thing, you and I are having fun. That's for sure. So maybe that's contagious.
That's the idea, yeah. So you were saying last time we talked, you wanted to talk about some of the podcasts that you like to listen to. Who do you like?
Oh my goodness, that's a great idea. Let me grab my trusty phone right here. So I have been, I can remember the day that this guy, Tim, said to me, you know about these podcasts? And I go, no, what are you talking about? I'd heard of it, but I didn't know how this whole thing worked. And he kind of just said in your phone and this and that, and just hit podcasts. And this has to be 10 years ago. And this has changed my life. It's unbelievable. Of course, if you're listening or watching this, you know about podcasts, obviously. But I have a table of contents. What have I listened to this week? What are my go-tos? So I got this news one I tune into every day. That's just kind of like a little 10, 12-minute news of the day, because I'm not a big news watcher at all.
Yeah.
But this kind of keeps me conversational around things that are going on in the world if I'm in with a client meeting or doing my full-time everyday life.
Yeah.
So I kind of enjoy that one. And I'm feeling a little bit optimistic around turning some corner with this COVID thing sometime this summer, hopefully, and certainly by the fall, just in terms of a little bit of normalcy and getting past this. That would be nice. So I'm hearing a lot about that there. I've been listening to a lot of Beatles music. We talked about that. I became a Beatles fan. How's that? That's the weirdest thing what? How is that possible in your 50s and you just became a Beatles fan? But there's a lot of good stuff out there. Looking through the Glass Onion. Glass Onion is, of course, a famous Beatles song, and they have this podcast. These two guys are just talking about individual songs. It's about a half an hour podcast, and they're both musicians. They play in a Beatles tribute band, and they really break them down. As a guitar player, you would get much more out of this podcast than I am, but I enjoy just hearing their synopsis of each of these songs. It's a lot of fun.
Huh.
A lot of fun. I do a lot of music podcasts. I don't listen to a lot of music, ironically, as a musician, but I listen to podcasts about music. You turned me on to one, The French Connection. The French Connection is a fun podcast. JJ French, I didn't know this, but he was the guitar player for Twisted Sister. We're going back.
Wow.
But he interviews other musicians, and it's a lot of fun to get these perspectives. You know, for so many years, we kind of held up these musicians as like our idols. And I think that was kind of the culture back in the day, you know, and to hear them just talk like they're just regular people. And it's really fun to get some different perspectives. There's that word again.
Yeah, French. So I recommended the one that he did with Nuno Betancourt, which is one of my favorite podcasts ever. That was so awesome.
It was amazing. Perfect example. Here's a guy who I've always just like looked up to as this guitar god. Not to mention I love the music that he makes and they make. But to hear him just talk as a regular guy, it's like, wow, it's really refreshing. He only has, looks like 18 or 20 podcasts out there, so it's new.
What's his name? I know the last name is French. What's his first name?
JJ French.
JJ French, yeah.
It's called The French Connection.
So I didn't know who he was, but I could tell by the way he was talking and the people that he talked about and the people that he's been with. He must have been a famous musician or something. So that's what it was. He was with Twisted Sister, huh?
Guess it depends on how you define famous. Yes, he had a huge career and probably became a multi-mega bazillionaire, you know?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's fun.
So right now I'm working on my second million.
Is that right?
Yeah, because they always say the second one is easier than the first one. But I won't. So I figured I'd just throw that in there.
We don't have our sound machine up yet, do we?
You know,
I can do this.
I tried really, really hard. To figure out how to hook up my quad track machine to the Zoom thing, and I couldn't do it. I don't know how to do it. I got to get some help from someone.
Ironically, I have an electronic drum set right here, but that might be difficult to figure out right now.
I mean, I could do this, but it's
Literally
not the same. Huh?
That works.
See that button right there? Look.
Yeah,
Can you hear that okay?
I do.
Say something funny.
I got nothing.
You got something. That was good.
Wow.
So what do you got going for the
Oh
weekend?
my goodness. I'm going to see a very good friend of mine this morning for a cup of coffee and just kind of catching up because it's been too long. And they also happen to kind of be a speaker, trainer, presenter in their life. And I have a big presentation coming up I'm doing. So I'm running some of my material by them, which I'm looking forward to. And band rehearsal later this afternoon in the new space. We're rehearsing in the new space. Oh, beautiful.
They're good, yeah. So you're doing something at the Boston College? Is that what you said?
Yes, I was hired by the Director of Employee Development. They have, all sorts of ongoing programs for staff of the school, faculty, students, anybody can do this. And so I'm doing a 2-hour workshop coming up, all virtually, of course, over Zoom, about the brain and our potential mindset, personal growth.
Awesome.
Leadership. I'm looking forward to it. I've been working hard on it. And
I wish I could be there because I know you're really good at that stuff. So are you going to have it recorded or video so I could watch it afterwards?
You record Zoom presentations like I don't know how that works.
So Michael's saying that because last week we did a Zoom and I didn't have the recording mechanism on. So we were all excited about it because it was a really good one, better than this one. But for some reason we didn't record it. I say
this one's better.
I didn't record
it. All happens for a reason.
I was the host. I was supposed to be the one hitting the record button and I didn't. My fault. But
Made me apologize for it.
Well, there's a couple of things that he said about me that weren't nice. I'm glad we didn't catch it. Oh, hold on now.
That's one big edit button. Oh my goodness.
Too funny.
What do you got going on this weekend? It's Saturday in Florida. What are you doing?
So here's an interesting thing. I had years ago, I sold a house to a couple that I know from Hudson, Mass. They bought a house here in Spring Hill, Florida. And then this week they sent me a referral because she's a realtor. So she sent me a referral for some people that were coming down from Hudson to buy a house. So I took these guys out to look at some properties, and then we started talking about who we know. And he worked with my father-in-law, right? So
this guy who you're meeting for the first time worked with your father-in-law?
Yeah. So then he's telling me about some people he knows. He goes, "You know Joe Cabral?" And I have a friend, Joe Cabral, that has a condo here in Clearwater for the winter. And him and I are like really, really good friends. So those two guys are friends. Then we started talking about all these people that we know. It was amazing. And then his sister was there. She says to me, "Hey, do you know so-and-so from Manning Street?" And she gave me the name, last name Costa. And she had a sister named Teresa and a brother named Vasco. I said, "Well, who are you talking about is my sister-in-law." So it was like so strange, such a small world.
Crazy.
So it's a small world, like Stephen Wright used to say, I wouldn't want to paint it. Yeah, so I'm thinking about looking at properties and a real cool couple, and I had a great time with them. It's awesome.
And from my perspective, for the listeners, when I hear Hudson, Matt, my assumption is everyone's related. You must be their cousin somehow, but you said that wasn't the case.
No, there's 3 people that aren't related.
These guys have been from the Azores. You'd be related. That I know.
Yeah.
They didn't have that benefit.
Well, Kevin Figueredo, the drummer for Extreme, which you've taken some lessons from, my grandmother's last name was Figueredo. So, we're all from a small island, like, as you know. And I keep saying to him that we're cousins. He says, "We are?" I says, "Yeah, of course we are. We're from the same island, and we have the same last name, or your last name is the same as my grandmother's. So how could we not be related somehow?"
That's fair.
So he looks at me like he's proud, but I'm not sure if he is or not.
A great guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy, isn't he?
Wonderful guy.
Yeah.
A lot of good people out there.
I know, huh? So, when does baseball season start? I know you like baseball.
Whew. That's a great question.
Nobody knows.
It's coming up. Let's see. Hang on. See if I can get this going. When is opening day for the baseball season? Oh boy. Hang on. Opening day for the baseball season.
There are 15 NFL games, April 1st, 2021. The Blue Jays kick off the Yankees at 1:05 p.m. The
Wow.
Indians meet the Tigers at 1:10 p.m.
Uh-oh.
The Orioles face the Red.
Let me shut her off. There's 15 opening day games on April 1st,
April 1st. Wow.
which is what,
There are 15 NFL games, April 1st, 2021.
do so long.
Sorry, could you repeat what you said?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Wow.
April 1st.
It's not a joke, is it?
Although I'm not sure our teams are playing on April 1st, but somewhere right in there.
Yeah.
That's only a couple of weeks away, 2.5 weeks.
Wow.
Looks like it's going to be a full 162 game season this year for the baseball season, which is exciting because last year it was a 60 game season thanks to COVID. I'm hearing some stadiums are even open up for 20-25% capacity. So there's some distancing, but there'll be, a handful, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 people in each stadium for each game. That's kind of cool, provided it's done appropriately. I'm a little concerned about, I guess everybody is rushing back too quickly, but I don't know.
So I wasn't even paying attention.
I just heard that Europe is having like a third wave of COVID happening, and Italy's going into another shutdown like Monday.
Oh,
So
phew. So crazy.
anxious to get back, but I suppose we can't be too anxious.
So I run into people all the time, and because of COVID, if I'm out in public, I'm wearing a mask. And they never
Yeah.
said this to me before, but now they always say, "Man, you look good." I guess I look better with a mask, is what they're trying to say.
Are you taking that as a compliment or as an insult? It's amazing what our brains will do with comments like that. Am I feeling good or am I feeling bad about that?
I know, it's funny, isn't it?
Isn't it funny how we are so often not our own best friend, but our worst enemy, and how we hear things and how we perceive things?
Perception is the whole thing, isn't it?
Mm.
I just heard a comic talk about the looking too close to the elephant. Sometimes you
I
don't
remember that lesson. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're too close to the elephant, you can't even see the elephant because it's so close that you can't see it. So you have to step back a little bit and look at the whole picture.
There's that perspective word again. But so often we can't do that in our lives because we're too close to it.
Too close to
I
it,
suppose this is why coaches are important and mental health professionals and friends and our, that's how they give us a different perspective.
Talk about coaches in baseball. Remember that thing about the coach that had one player out in the left field or something that kept dropping the balls? And when he threw him, he didn't throw him right. So the coach said, "Hey, next inning, I want you to sit down. I'll go over there and I'll play your position so I can show you how it's supposed to be done." So he's out there playing, but he dropped a bunch of balls, and when he threw him, he didn't throw him right. So he came back in and he said to the player, "I don't know what you did to that portion of the field, but everything out there is messed up, man."
Oh boy.
Baseball humor.
Oh my goodness. I suspect there'll be a lot of it from my end this season because the Red Sox are, I think they're calling it a rebuilding phase. They're not expected to do much this season.
Right. So I think I told you before. One time when I was a kid, I played soccer with some people that like George Betancourt and a few other people. And we had like a championship game that we played at Fenway Park. This is when the Boston Beacon, remember the Boston Beacon Red Sox, Boston Beacon Soccer Club in I think they were called the Boston Beacons. It was a soccer club. And they played at Fenway Park.
Really?
Yeah, so the field went like from the left field to the right field. And there was like a regular sized soccer field in there. And we got to play during halftime. We played 2 15-minute halves or something and won the championship. Hey,
Really?
yeah. So one of my friends one day sent me over a thing. They found an old newspaper with a picture on there and the story about the kids from Hudson that played at Fenway Park in a soccer game.
Huh.
And there I was in the picture.
Wow.
Like, think about that. Not everybody can say that, huh?
In fact, very few people can.
Yeah, I think there was like
A couple
22.
of years ago, the NHL was doing this thing. The hockey league was doing this thing where they were playing outdoor games. It's at open air facilities in Fenway Park. They put a hockey rink in the park, and they played some professional games. And then they allowed some younger league stuff. In fact, oh, that's so funny. So my sweetheart, her son, these are great hockey players. She has a picture of him playing hockey in the goal at Fenway Park.
Wow.
Outdoor hockey at Fenway Park. How cool is that?
So, the thing with leprosy, there's a group of people here in Naples, Florida that have leprosy, and they formed a hockey team. So during the first game, they had to stop the game in the first period because there was a face-off in a corner. So they decided to make
I beat you to it.
Yeah, they decided to do something different. So they figured they'd go play cards. But as soon as they go play cards, one guy threw his hand on the table.
You know that Florida was known for its leper colonies.
No, but it wasn't even that. It was just grasping for a joke somewhere.
That wasn't too bad. That didn't feel too forced at all, actually. I was pretty impressed with that.
Well, we talked about this before where I know hundreds of jokes, but I don't remember them all unless somebody says a word that triggers a joke. So we started talking about hockey.
So did I just say a word that triggered that leper one? What did I say? Hockey, and then you went with face off.
Yeah.
Hockey.
There's a face off in the corner. There's no corners in the.
Remind me not to say hockey again.
There's no
Remind me not to say hockey again.
Oh, don't say that. Wow.
Oh.
Amazing. So is your daughter all settled?
I've never been to a concert. You ever been to a concert at Fenway Park?
No.
I've never been. There's been some big ones.
You know what I watched? Those Tom Petty live at Fenway Park. Have you seen that?
Mm.
Really good.
I never saw that. I saw Tom Petty live at Red Rocks out in Colorado.
Don't tell me about it. I don't want to hear it.
Well, it was like 6 months before he died. It was
I know,
amazing.
but you did two things on my bucket list: to see Tom Petty live and to go to the Red Rocks, and you saw both of them at the same place at the same time. That's why I don't like.
So you've never been to Red Rocks? That's where Red Rocks is worth it just to go out there to go to Red Rocks. Once we get back to some sort of normalcy, everyone's so ready to get out and be entertained, and it'll be fun.
Actually, last year I was looking at who's going to be there, what concerts are coming up, because I was thinking of going, but then the COVID thing came in and I didn't want to get on a plane.
We should look at that together, separately, for this year, and go see something out there.
Yeah, let's see who's playing there.
Pick a band we both like, and go for a long weekend. That'd be fun.
Maybe Still Place will be playing out there.
It might be warming up for somebody.
That'd be a lucky band to get warmed up by you guys.
Oh, that wasn't a joke, but okay. You're just being complimentary. Very nice of you.
Well, actually, I'm recording this thing, but there's portions of it I can go ahead and there and just trim it out, so we can leave that compliment out. I can't wait to go hear.
Oh my goodness.
I can't wait to go hear you guys play, man.
That's fun. Very fun.
No, well,
I was reading something.
Go ahead.
I was reading something yesterday, and it reminded me. And I read a quote this morning. This quote this morning said, "The biggest disability is our inability to make people feel important,
Wow.
or to see people as more." And I remember hearing something that said, we're getting deep here, but I remember hearing something that said, treat everybody you meet as if they have a plaque on their head that says, "Make me feel important." Because everybody needs to, And
I think
we're
that's
so
one of
often
my
our own
gifts.
worst enemy when it comes to everything. And I suppose we rely on other people to help us out there.
So I think that one of my gifts is a witty sense of humor. But the other gift that I have, I think, is I have this ability to read people's energy. And I always talk to people that are strangers, and I treat them like we're friends. That's just one of I do it for myself, I think, because I'm a little selfish, but I think it's good for them as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What was just your story? You just told, the woman who cut your hair, and you gave her every one of your jokes. It sounded like.
Yeah, but she gave me one joke that I can't use on the podcast. That was awesome. She put me in my place, man.
That's a whole. That's a separate podcast, I think.
Yeah, separate podcast. Enough of this one.
I was kind of surprised she came out with that too. Not only you were somewhat of a stranger, but you're a customer of hers, and that kind of like set the bar as to where this conversation can go.
There's other people in there, so she's washing my hair, right? And then she bends down and tells me that joke. It was funny. I'll use that one, I'm sure. Well, I already told you about it, so I'm already using it, see?
That's going to be, you'll use that in the nightclub.
So one of the ways that I remember all these jokes is that when I hear a good joke, I repeat it 3 to 5 times that day. I tell other people that joke. And if I do that, it's locked in my mind forever. Doesn't mean I can remember
So
it
that's
all
interesting.
the time.
You don't just say it to yourself. You actually give it to somebody else and have the experience of it.
I give it to 3 to 5
That's
people.
probably why you're remembering that.
I give it to people, 3 to 5 people that day.
Yeah.
You know, I called you, right? Told you about the joke that the hairdresser told me. And I already told 2 or 3 other people, so now it's in my mind forever. I wouldn't want
can't come out here.
I wouldn't want to be in my mind all the time, man. It's crazy in there.
I think most people probably say that same thing.
And the other thing is that I never remember really who I already told that joke to. So if I told somebody a joke and I see him tomorrow, I'll tell them the same joke again because I don't know if I told it to him.
As your friend of 35 years, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Do you know what the record is of the how many times I've told you the same joke?
I haven't kept count, but
It's been a lot, hasn't it?
I keep running out of ink.
Oh boy, that's funny.
I think the only person running out of more ink than me must be Terry. Oh, poor Terry. Whew. I feel for her.
She doesn't even pay attention to me anymore.
Well, that's her own way of keeping sanity.
Yeah.
We all have to come up with some, survival techniques for the world, and one of I can appreciate that.
But the other day, she says to me, "You weren't even paying attention to what I just said, were you?" And I said, "That's a strange way to start a conversation." Right? She said, "You're not even paying attention to what I just said, are you?" And I said, "That's a strange way to start a conversation."
Oh, that's good. That's clever. That sneaks up on you.
Yeah.
That's the fun for me. The jokes that sneak up on you and catch you like that. Those are the ones that work for me best, I think.
You said a line the other day that I was trying to remember. Something about there's a lot of truth in humor, something like that. How did you say it?
Oh yeah. Like a thread of truth in humor, which is quite frankly, I think what makes it funny. Because there's got enough in there,
Thread of truth.
Thread of truth. That's an interesting term. It's a good name for a song, Thread of Truth. I'll have to write that this afternoon, perhaps.
Huh.
Thread of Truth.
Wow.
I've always thought it was a great name for a band. But you can't do it because it was already a movie. There was a great movie with Kevin Bacon that most people didn't see called Stir of Echoes.
Stir of Echoes. Wow.
Isn't that a great name for a band?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's already a movie, but great movie.
So the band I'm in now, Oyster Bone, when we first started that band, we call ourselves Tonal Dependency. Tonal.
Tonal Dependency.
Yeah. That's a good name for a band.
It is. I often enjoy the tribute bands and the names they come up with. And there was one in this area. They put an ad out. They were looking for a drummer a couple of years ago. And I don't even think I answered this, but they were a Tom Petty tribute band, speaking of Petty. And they called themselves Petty Larceny.
That's
I
good.
thought that is clever.
That's clever. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Petty lovers. I think they'd be popular right now with Tom Petty gone, doing Petty if they do it well. Maybe that was the problem. Aha!
Uh-huh. So Tom Petty had a song where he talked about something about Highway 41 or something in the song.
Yeah.
And after he passed away, they actually named a highway up there in Ocala in that area after the Tom Petty Highway or something like that. They renamed it with his name on it.
Really?
Isn't that cool?
That's interesting. Most people, I think, either don't know or forget the fact that he's from Florida, Tom Petty.
Yeah.
For some reason, I want to say Gainesville, but I'm not sure why.
Gainesville. Yeah, I think that's where he's from. Gainesville. Yeah.
Who's from Florida? My goodness. I mean, in the rock and roll world, that seems unusual.
Huh.
I just upset some listeners, probably, or my co-host.
I don't know. Isn't Leonard Skinner from Florida too?
I was just going to say that. Yes, they are.
Yeah, I think they used to be in the same region there. They used to probably gym together or something.
I remember their gym teacher's name.
Oh yeah.
How they got their name. Yeah, they're from Gainesville also, Leonard Skinner. Great band.
Yeah.
Oh, they're still doing it. I saw them live. Oh, man, they're fun. What a great band.
Yeah.
Not just a great band, but great live show.
No Freebird. A lot of bands have that. A lot of bands that cover bands have a sign in front of the stage that say "No Freebird," because everybody wants to play Freebird.
No, it's funny you said it because it's in a sense it's kind of gotten a bad rap because it's such a cool tune, but it's become almost like a caricature of itself. I have a friend of mine who plays guitar they're a Southern rock tribute band, so they're kind of all over the Southern rock thing.
Yeah.
He's the guitar player, and I went and saw them live a couple times. He did the Freebird solo like note for note at the end, and you don't realize how amazing it is until you're watching a friend of yours do it, and you're like, oh my! I mean, we just heard it for decades, and it's all in there. But to see someone do it, like, man, there's a lot going on here, and they just nailed it.
Wow.
That was fun.
That's amazing. Yeah.
I was just talking to someone the other day. I said, I can't wait to go out and be in the audience of live shows. This is going to be so awesome.
Huh. We got one April 3rd coming up at Silver King. Silver King Brewery up in Tarpon Springs, Florida. April 3rd.
April 3rd,
Come on out.
which is a Wednesday. What day of the week is that, April 3rd?
I think it's either Friday or Saturday. Hold on, I'll tell you in a second. April 3rd. Huh? March, April?
That's the day after my mother's birthday.
What's a
Your
Saturday?
mother's birthday. What's that?
It's a Saturday.
April 3rd, Tarpon Springs, Silver King Brewing Company.
Yep. And
You got any oyster stout?
while you're there, you can drink some oyster stout. Yeah. It's quite an experience.
That's fun. So you're playing out live.
So when the guys that were brewing the beer, they actually take, you know how they put all the grain stuff in the vat and they cook it up and stuff? Then they took 72 oysters in a stainless steel container with holes, and they drop it into the vat and cook the oysters in that thing.
Wow.
It does something to the flavor of the beer for some reason. I don't know what it is, but after that, we were forced to eat all those oysters.
That's how they pay you. We're going to pay you in oysters.
So it was a busy night.
Hence the name of the band.
Yeah, when I got home, it was a busy night.
Oysters. Just stout. Oh, have you tasted this oyster stout?
Yeah. So when they first named the beer after us, I sent a text to my two sons saying, "Hey, I know you guys have never had anything to be proud of with your dad, but finally there's something to be proud of. Silver King Brewers named the beer after my band. Isn't that awesome?" And then there's nice. Listen, Taylor Swift doesn't have a beer after her name. Kelly Clarkson doesn't have one. You know, we have one.
My most favorite bands don't have a beer named after them.
Right? See what I mean? And it sells well. People like it. So My son Josh, who lives in Norway,
Wow.
he said to me, "Oh, I love what we're texting back and forth." He goes, "I love oyster stout." I said, "What do you mean love oyster stout? Is it a thing like that?" He goes, "Yeah, it's a real thing." So I looked it up online, oyster stout, and all kinds of different brands came up with oyster stout. And I had
Wow.
never heard of it. Yeah.
I haven't heard of it either. And so did they call it the oyster bone stout for you? Or is that just something you made up?
No, it's true.
Nice.
Oyster bone stout.
I'd like to come see you guys play. Have you been playing out at all, or is this the first time in a while?
Last year, I think we played 5 times altogether. We had two really good gigs. They were private gigs in December. Real nice big house on the water with a huge pool. And that was kind of cool. Then we did the one that I told you about, the Jeep thing that we did.
Oh, the Jeep one was it? Yeah.
Yeah, with that kid speaking Portuguese. That was funny. Yeah, so we had, I think it was 5 gigs we did altogether. But, I did the math. Out of all the gigs that we didn't do over the year, I did the math, see how. So we actually saved $214
How so?
by not playing all those gigs. The travel to the things and stuff, and the gas money.
So you're in the black on your books, which is nice.
So on Wednesday, I went with a friend to what do you call a guitar store thing. So we went to 2 different stores, and we're talking about gigs and this. He's been playing forever and ever and ever, and he's a real good blues guitar player. And his name is Fred. But anyway, he told me about a place that he played at in Palm Harbor that the guy didn't pay him. He played a gig, his band played a gig, and the guy didn't pay him. I says, "Oh, don't tell me what it was." I said it was the I forget the name of it now, but anyway, my band played at that same location. The guy didn't pay us.
Really?
Yeah, and I've played since the 70s. I've never had one gig that we did that we didn't get paid. So the guy was on his way out of business. So instead of saying, "Hey Tony, I can't pay you guys. I don't have the money. Can you guys wait a couple of weeks and I'll give it to you when I can?" You said, "Well, I'm not going to pay you guys." And that was it. That's how rude he was. So he did the same thing to my friend's band as well. By the way, he's closed.
I had a funny opposite experience. The very first time this band I'm in now played out, and it was a little bit of we were a 4-piece at the time, and I met this owner of this bar as part of like what I was doing for work at the time. And I said, "You do live music?" "Oh yeah, we do live music." I said, "Oh, I play in a band. We'd love to play here. We're an instrumental rock band." And I didn't have any recordings for her, but she just said, "Sure." And so she gave us a date, and she gave us, she was going to pay us $300. And so we were excited. We'd never played out live before with this band. And this is a seedy, dangerous-y kind of place. So I thought. I mean, the truth is, everyone's cool when you get to these places. But
Yeah.
This is actually, we had a 4-hour, it was 9 to 1. We have 11 songs total, and we're playing for 4 hours. And so we start to figure out, okay, how are we going to do this? So we broke it up into 3 sets, and then we did some jam. One of the things we're able to do is just jam. And we could do that for 25 minutes and just go, because we know each other well enough that we can do it. And people like it. So we had a lot of those in there. And then the third set, we repeated some of the first set stuff. So it was hysterical that we did a 4-hour gig with 11 songs. And when we're done, the woman comes up to us with the envelope, which she gave to us and paid. But her complaint was, "You guys didn't do any country songs." And I said, "No, we're not a country band. You told me you were a country band." I'm like, "I would never have told you that. We're not." So she was upset and complained that all her people left because she promoted us as a country band.
Wow.
I honestly didn't see anybody leave. We had a bunch of our own people there. But so she was upset with us and paid us anyway. How do you like that?
Huh. So you know me, I like to tell stories. When we rehearse at Adrian's house. Adrian's the drummer in our band. And his whole family room is all music equipment. So we rehearse it. We play loud when we're rehearsing and stuff. So one day we're sitting there rehearsing, and he has a pocket door that goes into the bedrooms, and the pocket door opened up, and an older gentleman, probably like about 80 years old, walked in to the room where we were rehearsing, and I'm like, oh no, I'm thinking to myself, we just woke this guy up. Who is he? I had no idea who he was. So then I'm trying to get the guys to, tune it down a little bit, but they're not paying attention to me. They're just playing and jamming. So then the guy looks at me. He's going like this, and he starts stepping his foot. And I says, "Oh, he likes it. That's cool." So he goes back into the room. So I says, "Oh, maybe he's going back to go to sleep or something." He walks out with his saxophone, comes over and grabs my microphone and brings it down to, and he starts jamming with us. And the guy was freaking awesome. I mean, awesome on the saxophone. And actually, I was recording it back then. We had like 17 minutes of him jamming with us.
Wow.
I think we were doing something like Sympathy for the Devil or something. Rolling Stones, just jamming, not singing, just jamming. And he was awesome. And afterwards, we stopped because after about 15 minutes, he started running out of breath. So he was actually 80 years old. And that was Adrian's dad.
Wow.
Who has passed away since then. But anyway, the only job he ever did for his whole life was to play music. So he used to travel with a dinner dance group band type of thing.
Yeah.
Like all over the place. And he's just a great guy. And he had all kinds of awesome stories. I became good friends with him. Then I used to work at a place that was close to the VA hospital in St. Pete. And he was there for a while. So I'd go see him every day at lunchtime. I'd go see him and we'd tell stories. And the guy's just so freaking awesome. I miss that guy. So he was half Portuguese and half Mexican.
Hmm.
And the best part of him was the half that was Portuguese, obviously.
Of course.
One day Terry met him. She goes, "Oh, I can see why you like him. He's an awesome guy, Mr. J.J. Silva, awesome dude."
J.J. Silva.
Yeah.
Saxophone. I got that Steely Dan song in my head now. Learn to play sax. So I just heard something. I was reading something last week about people over, I forget what age, 60 or as retirees, how important it is to learn how to play a musical instrument.
Oh yeah.
In terms of kind of just keeping your brain alive and learning something new.
I've seen videos of people that are like in nursing homes or whatever, and they're not really cognitive that much. But if you start playing music of the old songs that they used to listen to, they come alive and they dance and stuff. It's amazing.
Yeah, there's a lot of work around that. My mom spent the last year and a half of her life in a dementia unit, and there's got to be some correlation to just how music can it's soulful, it grabs your soul, and so suddenly you're back. Fascinating.
So I had a friend that was a bass player, a really good bass player, and then he ended up going to a hospice type of thing. Before he went to the hospital, he was in the hospital. So I went to visit him at the hospital. I'm talking to him, making him laugh and stuff. And he had a little ukulele there. I says, "I know you play ukulele." He says, "Sure." So he grabs a ukulele. He asked me to pass it to him. He's playing the ukulele and singing some songs to me. And it was really good. So his wife showed up. And we're having a good time. We're laughing and joking and stuff. And she was upset over that because I was making him laugh. I said, "Well, I don't mean, I like him, and we're good friends, and we always laugh."
Disrespect, right?
Well, don't you know the situation he's in? I says, "Yeah, a little laughter can't hurt," but she didn't like that at all. She was all upset over that. I said, "Wow." So I just excused myself and walked out.
And who was this woman? What was her relationship to him?
She was his wife.
Oh, wife. Yeah.
And she was upset.
She misunderstood your intent. Misunderstood your intent.
Yeah, and she probably didn't realize that was good for him. For him to have a good time. Wow. Who knows? So, what do you think about this cancel culture that we're in now, where you can't have a Mr. Potato Head anymore? You can't have all kinds of stuff that they're dropping. Dr. Seuss books have to be taken off the shelves, and
I just heard all about that.
Isn't that crazy?
I think we're getting a little too overly sensitive.
So the Mr. Potato Head, you can't say Mr. Potato Head because you can't have gender in there.
So that was the complaint. It's Mr. makes him a
guy, yeah. But it's a potato. They had a mustache. Hello.
Yeah, a little too sensitive.
And Dr. Seuss, that. Oh, and Pepe Le Pew too. Pepe Le Pew has to go.
How come?
Well, because it was it was like sexual intent or something. I don't know, when he used to talk to, remember he was trying to kiss all the girls or something.
I guess it doesn't say much about us if we don't even know why they're trying to cancel this stuff out. Like I can't even follow the logic on it. But.
So I almost feel like doing this.
I'll have to look into that. I didn't know much about that. I heard about it, but
Does your camera have one of these things, Mike? Does your camera have
a
one of
little
these?
silly. No, I don't.
Look, boom. Like SOS.
I have a roll of tape. I can,
You know what that's for? So if I'm in danger talking to you, I can send out an SOS.
Oh, a friend of mine turned me on to a you would love this. I can't remember this guy's name. He was like a Mississippi Delta blues guitar player. And young guy. I think he said he was like 22 years old, and he's got this voice. He played me like 30 seconds of a video. I'll find this out and tell you, and then we'll do it. Talk about it. It was amazing. I don't want to get it wrong by guessing. I don't want to spend time on my phone during this, but I'll make sure I get that to you because I think you'd like it a lot.
Yeah. Delta, do you like blues?
It depends. And because I know, listen, I'm a rock music guy. Most of all of rock music has kind of come from the blues, so I get that. But sometimes for me, the blues can be a little boring if it seems to be the same thing over and over and over again. And sometimes it can be amazing if it's kind of a rock and blues and some of the guitar. It's amazing, but it depends.
Yeah. I love blues music, and
Yeah.
blues rock especially. It's like Led Zeppelin. That those all come out of the blues.
That's all it was. Yeah.
They used to play some blues that were amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will make sure I get that for you for next time. And we're doing on time. We got to be coming up on 35, 40 minutes.
Yeah. So plus you have an appointment at 10 somewhere, don't you?
I got an appointment. I got a few things going on.
Okay.
Got my sweater. Got my business cash sweater. Not the shirt that our listeners are waiting to see.
No,
Actually,
but
they're not just listeners. This is the podcast, aren't they? Should we call them watchers? Or listeners is not really.
I shouldn't have brought up the thing about the shirt because I could tell that you're not wearing it. So for me to embarrass you like that is my fault. I didn't mean to do it on purpose.
Well, perhaps you would have thought that I have a shirt underneath this, like maybe that I can make some big reveal.
Wow.
But that's not the case.
That's what I
That's
thought.
not the case either.
That's exactly what I thought.
Let's go with that.
I said he's being coy. He's going to show it pretty soon.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
Now you'll know it.
next time we do the next podcast, I'm not going to bring that up because if you're wearing it, I'm going to say, hey, what's a new shirt? If you're not wearing it, I'm just going to say nothing.
And then one of these days I'll show up and you're going to go, it's the shirt. We've been waiting for this. That'll be fun. I look forward to that.
Yeah. Well, have a good time with your buddy today. That's nice to get together with somebody.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Ben, we have to go write that new song, Thread of Truth.
For the truth. So I told you one of the best songs that I ever wrote was called Save the Pain for Later.
Save the paint for later.
The pain.
Oh, save the paint. I was going to say, that doesn't make sense to me. Now that one does. Wow.
Save the Pain for Later, yeah. Good tune.
I bet.
I have
Does
a video.
Oysterbone do it?
No, but I have a video that we did it before with Tonal Dependency. But that was the singer that we no longer have because he wasn't up to our caliber.
He was just a singer?
I have a video of him singing it, but the song is good, but he just wasn't a great singer. His attitude was terrible too. We could put up with him not being the best singer in the world, but his attitude stunk. Nobody
I've been
was
there.
there.
I know what you mean. Everyone's been there.
Music's
Funny how
supposed to
things evolve.
I said to him, this is supposed to be fun. It's
How
not-
many guys? How many members do you have in Oysterbone? How many bandmates?
72.
It's a
It's
lot
like an
of
orchestra,
people.
man. It's like an orchestra. No, there's 5 of us. So we have a drummer, a bass player, a singer that also plays the guitar, and then two other guitar players, John and myself.
3 guitar players.
3 guitar players, yeah.
You guys should start doing some Outlaws.
Didn't Leonard Skinner have 3 guitar players?
The Outlaws definitely did. Leonard Skinner must.
Well, see, the thing is that a lot of people can get away with 1 guitar player, but we're not that good. So with 3 of them, it fills up a little bit of the sound.
Oh boy. All right. Well, on that note, let's get on with our days. I'm thrilled to be on that note.
Well, that note, we're going to do the
This is
outro.
fun.
On that note, we're going to do the outro.
Outro.
That's a musical term. The intro and the outro. Huh?
Love it. Always a pleasure, my friend.
Do you know music? Do you know theory? Do you have any just natural ability, or do you know some?
No, I know some of the terms. I've taken lessons, and I can read. And
Okay.
yeah, I knew the word outro.
What's that stuff you guys do on the drums? The paradiddles or something?
What's that?
What's that stuff you do on the drums? Paradiddles?
Paradiddle is a drum rudiment, correct?
Rudiment, yeah. See.
Single stroke, right, left, left, left. Oh, we're getting some drum knowledge now. Whew.
So one of these days soon, we're gonna jam together.
Oh, that'd be a dream come true. We've never done that.
No.
I've seen you play. You've seen me play. Never played together.
No. We will.
Yeah. So hopefully, I mean, maybe one day, your drummer sprains his wrist or something.
Ouch.
The morning of a gig, and I'm a quick JetBlue flight away. And
By the way, in my band, the drummer.
I'm not wishing any ill will on anybody. Understand?
No, but my drummer, Adrian, is the best musician in the band, no doubt at all. He's the best guitar player in the band.
Yeah.
He's the best
You
bass
told
player
me
in the band. And he's a drummer. So he plays drums with us, but he plays lead guitar with another band, and he plays bass with a different band. So I says, why do you play with us, man? Because he's much better musician than we are. He says, because I love you guys, and I want to get better at the drums. He says, I love playing with you guys, and I want to get better at the drums. So we just, we have a good time, but he's a real good guitar player. Yeah.
That's funny. One of my friends who's a drum influence on me, phenomenal drummer, really now is a phenomenal guitar player and doesn't ever really play the drums. And I often wonder with the bands he's in, if the drummer knew how good a drummer he was, they'd be intimidated because he's amazing. Right. But he doesn't even talk about it. It's just, I guess our passions can change around over time. And interesting. Maybe I'll be a guitar player someday.
Why not? It's like the Foo Fighters. Dave Grohl is an awesome drummer, but he has Taylor Hawkins on drums. Taylor Hawkins, he was intimidated to play drums with Foo Fighters because of David being such a drummer.
Can you imagine that? I mean, to be in the top of the musical world as a drummer in one of the biggest bands ever, to then founding a band as a guitar player and being on the top of that heap, from Nirvana to Foo Fighters. Amazing. Yeah,
and I wouldn't say that David Grohl is the best guitarist in the world, but I'll tell you what, he does a lot of interesting things on that guitar. And he's a great songwriter, amazing stuff. I watched a video where David Grohl and Taylor Hawkins inducted Rush into the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
When they came out and talked about Rush and stuff, it was so funny and so awesome. Really, really cool.
Taylor Hawkins is an amazing drummer. In fact, bring it all around here, I was the Glass Onion podcast talking about the Beatles songs. These two hosts were talking about Dave Grohl and kind of crediting with Dave Grohl for keeping rock and roll alive in today's 2020, 2021 timeframe in terms of what new rock is. And they really credit Dave Grohl with that right now, which is fascinating.
He's won 17 Grammys. Wow. So in my band, the Oyster Bone, I'm Tony, and then the bass player's name is Tony. So in my band, we have 2 Tonys, but we have no Grammys.
That's actually very good. That I'm laughing at.
Here's the other thing that's a good trait to have is when you say you're gonna stop the thing with the outro, but you keep going. That's not good.
Well, we caught them off guard. They're like, I thought this was over 5 minutes ago, but I'm still engaged. These guys are still doing great for me. I'm loving this. Let's hope they're all saying that. Well, if they're not saying that, they would have turned it off by now anyway, so they wouldn't hear this anyhow.
Yeah.
So if you're still here, we love you.
Awesome. All right, Mike.
Go get them, buddy.
Looking
Look forward to
that.
next time.
Yeah. And check out that Sledgehammer. There's some videos of Sledgehammer of covers. Dave Matthews that does a couple of good ones, but I think his name is Styles, or his name. Can't think of his name now. But he does a good.
It's a cool song to do as a cover because you can go so many directions. I'm going to go check that out.
I mean, if you feel like have horns in it, then you can use that. But they do it with the keyboards and stuff with the sound. It's really cool.
By the way, last time we finished this up, I said, I'm going to go get in the car. I'm going to go listen to Three Sides. I did that whole day. It was reminded how beautiful that is. It's amazing.
Album, yeah. Three Sides to Every Story from Extreme is the CD is stuck in my CD player in the car and I can't eject it. I'm not mad though.
What a blessing, quite frankly.
You know, yeah.
That could be an awful lot worse.
A lot worse, yeah. I could be stuck with Lawrence Welk or something.
Woo. Of course, that would have mean that you put that in the first place. So that's on you.
Oh, my fault.
Have a great day, my friend.
Thank you, buddy.
Talk to you soon.
See ya.